Hi Flosstube! Thanks for coming back to watch my second video. My name is Shiloh and you can find me on Instagram as @Xstitchmd. So 2 weeks ago I made my first Flosstube video, which was very nerve-wracking and very exciting, and I was just overwhelmed with how many people watched my video, commented on it, subscribed, so thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was very fun to read all your comments. I felt like a famous YouTuber or something. And my family was very impressed that people actually watched me ramble and talk. I also have to apologize to my mother because in my last video I said that she would probably never watch it, and she did in fact watch the entire thing. So thank you, Mom. I appreciate that a lot. Love you. So what have I been up to the past 2 weeks? Well, the past 2 weeks I had 1 week full of a lot of stitching and 1 week full of zero stitching. I was on vacation. I always take the week of my birthday off because who should have to work on their birthday? And so I went back home to visit family and didn't really get any stitching done. But I more than made up for it this past week. And right before I went on vacation, I did have a really big finish, so I'm going to show you that first. So I showed this last time and it was almost done, and I finished it. So this is Schoolhouse Quaker by Stone Street Stitchworks. And I stitched it with the recommended DMC on 32 count dirty linen. And you can see that it has 4 sets of initials, and I used my siblings' initials because I have 2 brothers and a sister, so it worked out perfectly. And yes, I did put the date as 2019, so I was overly optimistic when I stitched this and thought that's when I would be able to finish it. I love this little schoolhouse here. I think it's so cute. I'm a big fan of the Little House on the Prairie books. Read them all the time as I was a kid, and to me this just kind of feels Little House on the Prairie-ish. Another cute house here. I love all the motifs in this. I think this is just a fantastic design, and I highly recommend that any of you interested go ahead and stitch it. It was super fun, and this will be going off to the framer ASAP because I need this on my wall. I'm kind of thinking it would be nice to go like right up here beside my other Quaker, right over my TV. I think that'd be perfect, so I can stare at it all the time because I'm always sitting on the couch watching TV and stitching. All right, so what else have I been working on this week? Sorry, just to slightly adjust there. So I've been working on several different whips this week, so I will show those to you now. So this is the border band sampler by Quiltify Designs, and I got quite a bit done on this. So here we are now. So as you can see, I have quite a few more bands done since last time I showed this. This is such a fun design to stitch. I'm even enjoying stitching it over 1/1, which I usually do not. Super cute. It's going pretty quickly. There's still quite a bit left to go. This is maybe like 1/3 of it, but it's stitching up quickly, which is great. Next up that I've been working on, I pulled back out my Bonded by the Rain by Heaven and Earth Designs. I hadn't worked on this one in a while because I have to be in the mood for it because there's a bazillion confetti stitches, but it's very pretty. So I worked on this diagonal here and got it, 3/4 of the way finished. Look at all those parked threads, there's so many. But I love this, like seeing it from here, it looks just like a painting. Ah, it's so pretty. But there are a million different color changes, and so it takes a very long time to do. I recently, so for my birthday, I got some birthday money and I bought a super cheap Android tablet because I am an Apple girl and ew, Android. But I really wanted the Pattern Keeper app so that I could keep track of my progress. So I bought the super cheap tablet, got Pattern Keeper, and after I highlighted my progress, I learned that I am 4.6% done on this project. This is gonna take me years, but it's pretty, so that's good. Next up that I was working on was my Modern and Folk Embroidery 2020 stitch along, which is called a Family Patchwork Sampler, Quaker Family Patchwork Sampler. And here's where I am now. So this is probably most of January completed. And I'm stitching this with DMC 413 on 40 count pearl gray Newcastle linen with 1 strand of floss over 2. It's really pretty. I like it. This piece of fabric is huge and it's basically gonna fill up this whole piece of fabric. So obviously there's lots more parts to go. February's already released. March is probably gonna be released soon. I'm on January. No rush, right? It's all for fun. And then next up, I had 3 new starts over the past little bit because why not? I was watching Stitching with Mel the other day, and she was saying how she has a case of startitis. I feel like I always have a case of startitis. I love starting new projects. It's just, I don't know, I feel very accomplished when I do it. Just wish I felt that accomplished when I finish things, so I'd be more motivated to finish things, but it's fine. So this project, I was enabled by Von Golden Bones, or Elena, on Instagram. And this is Russian Windows by Owl Forest Embroidery. And it is super pretty. The colors on this are just gorgeous. So I bought this pattern as a PDF from their website, but then I bought the threads from them because they were so pretty. These beautiful, beautiful overdyed threads. And they shipped from Russia. Shipping wasn't too expensive, and they came within 2 weeks, which I thought was really good. But like, look how pretty this green is, all the different shades. So this design is basically like a bunch of windows with a really ornate border. And I was stitching it with the Owl Forest embroidery threads on 32 count, like a whitish, antique white Belfast linen. Yeah, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors in here. There's also a brown that goes in there as well. They're really pretty, really, really pretty threads. I like them. They weren't actually that expensive either. That's what I'm trying to justify to myself. I've bought a lot of stuff this month, and I'm just like justifying it by being like, it's my birthday month, I gotta treat myself. But like, I'm still treating myself, and today's the last day of February. I guess today is the last day I can treat myself. Yes, okay, that works. So this next one here, I have the piddliest little start ever, which is because after I started it, I realized that I put 1 extra row in this, so I basically have to rip all of this out. So after I did that, I just put this in timeout because I did not want to do all that. But yes, so I have this little teensy bit of a start done. This is the Patchwork Garden, Quaker Patchwork Garden. It'll be on the screen. And I'm stitching this on 36 count Aqua Edinburgh linen with the recommended DMC colors. I think this is DMC 930. It's really cute start so far. I really like the colors. I just need to like bite the bullet and just like rip this out and do it. It's just, I hate frogging. Like, it's just, feels so like, I don't know, such a waste of time. The worst though is in knitting, when you have to rip out some knitting, because that feels even more like just such a waste of time. But anyway, it's not that much stitches. I can just pull it out and deal with it. But anyway, other things have been catching my eye because they don't require reverse stitching. All right, this next new start kind of goes with some acquisitions I got this week. So this is the Orphanage sampler, and it was in the summer, it'll be on the screen, 1992 issue of Sampler and Antique Needlework Quarterly. So I'll talk about this in acquisitions, but I basically got all the back issues of Sampler and Antique Needlework Quarterly for my birthday. And I was flipping through them and I saw this sampler and I loved it. I loved it so much. The original is stitched in DMC 823 for the dark color, like it's like a navy blue, and then DMC 918 for like the reddish, but I felt like that looked super Halloween-y, and I don't really stitch Halloween. I'm not a fan of Halloween. So I wanted to change the colors, and I had a whole bunch of DMC 3031 left over from stitching my Schoolhouse Quaker, because I bought way too much of it. So I thought that would be a perfect color, and I love how these colors are working together. The red, I'm using DMC 902. There's some Algerian eyelet stitches here. I just realized DMC 902 matches my nail color, so that's cool. So I had the first alphabet complete. There's a bunch more alphabets. And I'm stitching this on this really pretty 28 count tea-dyed linen that I got from someone on Stash Unload on eBay. And this is 2 nights of stitching. Like, this is stitching up really quickly, and I'm kind of obsessed with it. So I might just stick with it until I'm finished it. But I say that all the time and I never do it. So, you know, what actually happens is I'm probably gonna start like 5 things today instead. No, I need to stitch on that. I wanna finish it. It's super cute. All right, I realized last week that I was doing a whip parade, but I obviously did not show all my whips because I have 5 million. But I had a bunch pulled out that I meant to show that I just ended up not showing. So they're still like just laying in the middle of my living room. So I figured I might as well show them before I actually put them away. So this first one here is by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. Maybe I did show this. Oh, I did show this one last week. Never mind. You already saw this one, my 12 Days of Christmas. But I'll just show it again. I haven't done any more work on it. But it's cute and I love it. And if I didn't, I did show it last week. There's a giant thread hanging off. Okay. There's that one. But the one I didn't show last week is also by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And this is called Once Upon a Time. And I'm sorry, it's been like folded for a very long time. I don't know why I haven't finished this, like I'm almost done it. And isn't it cute? It's so cute. So I'll just show you the individual blocks because I think they're the cutest things ever. So this was originally a stitch with each block had the month. So this was January, February, March, blah, blah, blah. I just thought that was kind of weird because like, I don't need something that has the months on it when they don't correlate at all. No offense to Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, who are amazing designers. But I decided instead I would put the names of whatever fairy tale it was because some of them I didn't know what they were. So that required a bit of creative fitting in some cases. Most of them were okay. This one was a bit tight because I think this was May, so it was a little bit hard to fit in. But I'm very proud of myself for charting all of those things myself and sticking them in. This one, like I had no idea what this is, and it's like the Bremen Town Singers. I still don't know what that's about, but I fit it in. I think Rapunzel's so cute. Cinderella, and I think I got stuck on this one because I wasn't really quite sure what to put. I was originally thinking I could just put red, but it's charted to say November, so there's like a very large spot to fill. I could just add in another tree or something. I don't know. I would love to finish it. I have like this image in my mind of like having this framed and hanging in like a little girl's room. So, you know, in like a million years when I'm finally done with all my training and can actually, you know, start a family and stuff, I think that'd be cute. So what I'm trying to say is I have lots of time to finish this, but I just would like to finish it just because it would be great. I'm stitching this with DMC. I feel like it calls for some like Weeks Dye Works and such. I can't remember, but I basically just like used my own DMC conversion. I think a lot of the ones are called for DMC, but I know like the border, I think I changed the colors in the border. And like, look how cute that border is. Like the flowers and the crown and the mushroom. Super fun to stitch. I love Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery designs. I just think they're super cute and they're really fun. And they're very different from what I normally stitch, which is a lot of like Quaker samplers and monochrome. So it's kind of nice to mix it up with colors. So that was something I didn't show last week. Another whip I did not show last week is this one. And now I'm second guessing myself and feeling like I did show it. So if I did, whatever, you're just gonna see it twice. But I don't think I did. It doesn't matter. I can show things twice, right? It's my video, like. All right, so this is the Token by Long Dog Samplers. And I think this is the right side edge here. So I've made it across the entire width here. And this I'm stitching as kind of like an anniversary / wedding sampler for me and my fiance, because this will be our wedding date, September 5th, 2020. So I'm using, let's see if I have the floss right here. I'm using DMC 814. And look at me being all prepared. I have multiple, and this also matches my nail color. Like, I think I like this color or something. Yeah, so this is where I am so far. And this is on 35 count. I don't know, it's kind of similar to the 28 count linen I'm using for the orphanage sampler. I think I got this on Stash Unload as well. And I'm using 2 strands because I am one of those people that I prefer the coverage of 2 strands on 36 count. So on 35 count, I'm obviously going to use 2 strands as well. I use just 1 strand on 40 count, but I like a thicker look. And when I first started stitching, I was all about 18 count Aida. That's all I used for everything, and I always used 2 strands. So I think I just kind of got used to how that coverage looked. And so when I started using linen, and especially like 36 count linen, I just have to use 2 strands because otherwise to me it looks super sparse. But then sometimes I use 1 strand on 32 count because I'm going for that look. Who knows? On this I'm using 2 strands. And this is so super darling. I love it. It's fun too because like Long Dog Samplers often has like some back stitch and stuff, which you don't often get on these. And like this motif is my favorite because look at those elephants. Aren't they so cute? It makes me kind of sad that it's sideways because I feel like you don't really recognize them as much. but I just think this is so cute and so fun. And my plan is to get back to working on this soon because I really like it. And ideally it would be nice to like maybe have it done by my wedding, because this is way more doable to have done by my wedding versus the Jan Hootman sampler I showed last week, which is gonna be like, I liked how one commenter I think said that it was gonna be, it could be done by my 10th wedding anniversary. Actually, I think I said that last time. Guys, I'm like second guessing things I say because I forget what I said in my last video versus what I planned in my head to say for my next video versus like what someone commented, and like, it's very hard doing this. Like, hopefully you guys still like me anyway. Okay, this video is going much faster than my last video because I feel like I'm talking fast, so hopefully I'm not talking too fast. But next thing I have to talk about is my acquisitions. Funny story about that. I was talking to my sister about Flosstube and like explaining what it is to her because like, you know, they have no idea what this is. And I was telling my sister that like oftentimes Flosstubers will have different segments where they're talking about like their whips and their finishes and their acquisitions, and I said it just like that, and my sister just started busting a gut laughing, being like, acquisitions, what is that? And she was saying how it sounds like it's like a company taking over another company, but really you just mean like your haul, and it was this whole thing. And yeah, so I'm gonna still say acquisitions, and I know that my sister's gonna laugh every time I say it, so that's specifically, now I can't talk, that's specifically why I'm doing it. Anyway, acquisitions. So this was my birthday, well, it was my birthday 2 weeks ago. Thank you for all the happy birthdays people wished me. And I got some birthday money. So like I said, I bought this like super cheap tablet so I could use Pattern Keeper. And I also got this from Amazon, which is Sampler and Antique Needlework Quarterly, the complete collection, 1991 to 2015. It's 80 issues, such a deal. Like an infomercial for it. I got this on Amazon, and it's like very old, okay. Now I just sound like a millennial. Very old school because it's a DVD that it comes on, but it's basically like a DVD that has the PDFs of all 80, I was gonna say episodes, all 80 issues, and basically you can just download them to your computer, which is what I've been doing sequentially. So it's been super fun just like looking through the issues and like picking out patterns, and basically like I got as far as like the second issue and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to start that right now. And so, I mean, that's what I've been doing. And I have like a long list of other things to start. There's one pattern in particular, I think it's called like the Swan Quaker or something. I'll put a picture up so you can see it. And that pattern I've been like looking for forever, and then I found it was on one of these, and I was like, do I want to buy the whole set just for that pattern? And then I was like, well, yes. So I did, but so I would have been happy with buying this just for that pattern, even though that's a really expensive price for one pattern. But thankfully there's a lot of other patterns in here that I equally like. So there'll be lots more starts coming from this. And you can find this on Amazon. It's like $50, which I thought was pretty reasonable for how many issues you got, but I did not buy it until I had birthday money because then I felt guilt-free in buying it. Thank you for birthday money, mom, dad, and sister. Other acquisitions. So this was me being completely enabled by Caroline at Off the Grid Needle Arts. Her last video, she showed this pattern, which she actually gotten as a gift from Letitia, the crafty curator. And I had seen this pattern multiple times on Instagram and loved it. And then I was like, you know what, I just need to go ahead and buy it. So this is the Quaker Seasons of Friendship. And so basically it has Quaker in it. I need it, clearly. And it's by Crown and Thistle Designs. Oh, look, you can see how much I paid for it. That's how much I paid for it. And I got mine from Dying to Stitch, which I believe is the people behind Crown and Thistle Designs. And I was really impressed with their service because I basically called them and was like, I need this pattern. Do you ship to Canada? And they were like, yes, of course. And shipping was really reasonable. It was like $4 to ship to Canada. And most people charge like $15. So thank you, Dying to Stitch. I really appreciate it. You have my business now. This is beautiful. I love it. I love that it has a lobster here because I live in Nova Scotia and we're all about lobsters here. So apparently this is designed to be representing the 4 seasons. So I think it's like, what does it say? So it's like winter, spring, summer, fall, something like that. I have not decided what color I want to stitch this in. I'm kind of leaning towards like well, I could go with my fingernail color because, you know, never too many red samplers. I probably will just do it in that, yeah. I don't know. I was also thinking about a purple, but red is just so pretty. So if anyone has suggestions of which red floss I should use, it was stitched in Belle Soie silk, so I kind of want to be fancy and stitch it in that. But if you have any recommendations, like, I'm all for recommendations. And if any of you have stitched this or are stitching it, like, let's be friends, show me your picture. Yeah, so this was Happy Mail this week. The other Happy Mail this week was some silk threads I got from Hand Dyed by Rolanda, who has an Etsy shop, and she is a fellow Canadian, yay, who I believe is near Toronto, close to Toronto, something like that, in Ontario. So I got these threads. Is this how you do it? Gosh, I feel like such a noob. Really pretty silk threads. They're beautiful. I love them. The issue is that I got them trying to match the color for this, which as you can see is fuzzy. As you can see is not quite the same. Because I only have one of, such a mess. I only have one of this skein. It used to look as beautiful as this. Because I got it in this mystery pack and I was like on her website trying to see like what match. And I mean, obviously this does not match at all, but I was thinking I could kind of like start the rest of the sampler in this color and then finish it in the other color and finish it when I have left of here. I'm not really sure, or I might be able to get a DMC that like kind of matches or something. I don't know. So yeah, I probably won't mix them because like looking at it now, it does not coordinate at all. But I might just stitch another sampler over one using this. The silk is so pretty and it's like super soft and it's very reasonable. It's like $4 Canadian a skein. Sorry, my hair is everywhere. Funny story about that. My fiance and I have talked about getting a dog once we're married and actually living together in the same province. I guess I don't know if I mentioned that before, but like he lives in Ontario, I live in Nova Scotia. And we were talking about getting a dog and I was worried because I was like, oh, a dog's gonna shed and we're gonna have hair all over the place. And he was like, well, we already have hair all over the place because of you. And I was like, well, you know, deal with it. I have long hair, I'm a girl, I shed. Anyway, other stash I got. So last week I was in Ontario visiting my fiance and family and everything for my birthday, and stopped at a needlework shop in Woodbridge, Ontario. Wait, I have my receipt. Woodbridge, Ontario, yes. The Enchanted Needle, which is a super cute little local needlework shop. They mainly carry yarn, but they had like a really good selection of cross-stitch fabric and thread. And I convinced my fiance to take me there. It's a bit of a drive. And we got there like 15 minutes before they closed. And I was just like mesmerized because, I mean, I don't have a local needlework shop. And so my local needlework shop is Michael's, which only has DMC. So just seeing all of the floss just like hanging there, I was just like touching them all and I'm like, that's so pretty. And I was like feeling the silks and I was saying to my fiance, I'm like, Harmon, feel this, touch this, look at this. And he's like, they all feel the same. They all look the same. And I was like, no, you just don't appreciate, because he doesn't appreciate. Meanwhile, if we go to like Lowe's or Home Depot together, he's like, look at this screw, look at this screw. And I'm like, they all look the same. So anyway, but he was very supportive and let me stay there and look at everything. And I bought a few things and he was very supportive of my cross stitching in general. He just finds the shopping for it extremely boring. So lesson learned for me. But while I was there, I picked up a couple things. I wanted to just buy everything because like I said, birthday month, treat yourself. But I restrained myself because my suitcase was already bulging and I didn't want to have to, you know, leave stuff behind. So I'm buying stitching stuff to also come home with me. So I got a couple things. I got a piece of white Lugana. Could that be any more boring to look at? I know it's boring. But I bought it for the Black Lace Sampler by Rosewood Manor Designs because it calls for 28 count. I think it's like white cashel linen, but it's stitching over one in the center. And I like to use an even weave when I'm stitching over one because I just find the stitches are less likely to kind of like slip, and they all are kind of the same size. So this fabric is reserved for that, which means this will be started soon. The other thing I got, no idea what I'm gonna do with this yet, but I got a fat quarter of, excuse me, oh gosh, I'm burping, sorry. I got a fat quarter of platinum 32 count linen. Let's see see if you can see. Yeah, that's pretty close to the color there. And my mind was blown because they serged the edges for me. The Lugana was a pre-cut piece, just like in this little basket, so it was cheaper. But this I got off the bolt and they serged it. And I was just like, oh my goodness, can I just come here and get all my fabric serged? Because it's just, I hate it when a fabric frays and it's just messy. And oh gosh, you guys that have a local needlework shop are just so lucky. And if anyone wants to open one in Halifax, Nova Scotia, that would be super nice. And like, I would shop there all the time. So like, please, please come. I also got a pair of knitting needles because I'm at the point now where I have so many knitting whips that pretty much all my needles are in use. So I bought more needles. These are cute. They're from Knit Picks. I realize I have not showed any of my knitting yet on my channel, and that will happen sometime. I'm just currently not really in a knitting mood, so I haven't knit in like a couple of weeks. But it comes in like spurts for me. I knit a lot more in the winter because it's cold out and, you know, I'm more likely to be like holding yarn on me. But right now I'm in a stitching mood, so. And then the other thing that I got was, I don't know, is it tacky to leave price tags on? Like, I don't care. Like, I'm interested to see how much things cost, but I feel like my mom would be like, take the price tag off. I'll just leave it on. It's hard to get off. So you can see how much more expensive things are in Canada. I got this pattern at Enchanted Needle. Mini Quaker stitches because Quaker means I buy it. And Jan Hicks of Jan Hicks Creates just showed this on her channel the other day. So I'm like, yay, we're twins. And it's super cute. It's very, very pretty. I like it. And okay, this is how easy it is to sell things to me. So I was like, oh, $13.99. Like, that's kind of expensive for a pattern because, you know, I don't want to spend more than, I mean, it's not that expensive for a pattern. It's just because the pattern is small, right? But then it was like, oh, it comes with the Gloriana floss to stitch this little line of satin stitches. So I was like, wow, that's such a reasonable price. Meanwhile, it's like a little tiny length of Gloriana floss. But I was like, well, that's gotta be at least worth $7. So this is super reasonable. This is how my brain works to justify things. But I think this is very pretty, and it looks like a really quick stitch. And as you can see, I usually stitch gigantic projects. So it'll be nice to like kind of mix it up and have a small project in between. I also just really like stitching big pieces because I like having framed pieces around my house so I can look at them. And I feel like small pieces don't have the same, I don't know, I feel like if I say this, I'm just gonna offend people. I feel like small pieces don't have the same impact level, I guess. Yeah, I do like smalls, but I just like it when other people stitch smalls. I feel like when I stitch them, I don't know how to finish them. It's really hard. I'd have to dust them. So yeah, I stitch big projects. All right, well, that was a tangent. So that's what I've been working on the past 2 weeks, and I'm excited to have the rest of the weekend for stitching. Have lots more plans for sitting and stitching. Oh, I wanted to talk about things that I'm into because I feel like it's cool when people say that. So here's what I'm into. I was watching Rocio, I hope I said that right. That's such a cool name, of Kokohama Stitchery. I'm probably saying it wrong. I'm sorry. But she was mentioning how she's been watching Love is Blind, and I just finished it, and it's like amazing. Highly recommend it. It is super dramatic, super fascinating. I was like on the side of my couch just like screaming at the TV. I find like watching reality TV shows like that very helpful in my day-to-day work. This is what I tell myself to justify it, because it like shows people's behavior and the way they think. And yeah, so basically like in my group of residents, there's 8 of us, and I think like 6 of us are actively watching Love is Blind and just like texting each other like, I can't believe I did this and stuff. So I've been all into that. I just finished it, so now I need to find a new TV show because I've done that. Watching a lot of Flosstube. Stitched some Flosstubers that I've just kind of started watching, even though like I follow them on Instagram and all this kind of stuff, but like sometimes their posts don't always show up at the same time, so you don't realize they've started a Flosstube channel or that they've had a Flosstube channel for like 60 episodes. So one of them I started watching this week was Stitching with Mel, and I love everything she stitches. She is also obsessed with Quakers, and I want to be her friend, so like let's be friends, Mel. Thank you. And then Rocio of Kokohama Stitchery. I'm really sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. I need to look that up. She basically, I feel like she's my Flosstube BFF because she's like super cute, and like I want my hair to look as good as hers because she's amazing. So check her out. She also has a really cute dog. So those are, oh, and I wanted to say thank you to Kokohama Stitchery, Jen Hicks, and Kindred Stitcher, who all shouted me out on their videos, and it was like, I got this little like thrill of hearing my name on my TV, because like I usually watch Flosstube, but I'm just kind of like stitching away, and then I heard my name and I was like, oh, thanks guys. So that was really nice, so thank you. It means a lot. So thanks so much for watching, for stopping by and spending some time with me today. I hope you have a wonderful stitching weekend and that you get to start all the projects. I hope you come down with a good case of startitis and maybe a case of finishitis as well. Sounds so bad. I don't really want people to get sick. I just mean like cross-stitch sick. Anyway, I'll be back in 2 weeks with my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and talk to you later. Bye.